We have Liberation Day.
President Donald Trump declared a holiday to celebrate one of his favorite words.
I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary.
But for many companies, it's less of a celebration and more of a scramble to figure out how to avoid the duties. It reminds me of an old Dr. Seuss rhyme. A tariff, oh, what a fright. It's causing big business to stay up all night. They once had a plan, they once knew the way, but now they must change how they work and they pay. There's onshoring and nearshoring and offshoring, oh my. But now I'm just mixing references, so I'll get back to what I do best, the facts. This isn't the business world's first round of tariffs by President Trump, but a new and far more exhaustive round calls for new methods. And there are three major categories to go over: onshoring, nearshoring, or friendshoring, and offshoring. Let's actually start with the offshoring. After all, it's a practice the president is trying to stop. Offshoring involves moving some of the company's processes or services overseas. Generally, it's used to take advantage of less expensive labor. The most simple example is a company establishing its own factory in China to produce its product. This can expand beyond simple production. Here's a made-up example. AAA Widgets is an American company selling widgets to U.S. customers. To keep prices down and maximize profits, it builds 5 factories in China. When done, they ship the product to the U.S. and the rest of the world to sell it. Offshoring shouldn't be confused with outsourcing, which is shipping off operations to a third party. In a real-world example, that's like TSMC producing chips for NVIDIA or Foxconn assembling iPhones for Apple. Those manufacturers still have relationships with other companies. So that's out of the way. Obviously, for the Trump administration, onshoring or reshoring would be the preferred practice. That means moving production to the U.S., creating high-paying jobs, and reducing dependence on the likes of China. But setting things up in the U.S. can be expensive for American companies and American consumers. When Trump's first-term tariffs took effect, most of which targeted China, companies came up with a third option. This is where nearshoring or friendshoring comes in. But unlike Trump's first term, it might not work so well this time. The philosophy behind friendshoring is moving manufacturing and supply chains to countries allied with the U.S., bonus points to countries that have a preferable trade agreement with America. Technically, it's still offshoring, but different. So let's give the AAA Widgets another shot. If the China tariffs are bringing it down, it may friendshore by moving production to destinations like Mexico, Vietnam, and Malaysia. It reduces dependency on China, avoids the high costs of American manufacturing, and skirts trade-related levies. Of course, this can open up a whole other can of worms. Remember when Vietnam accused Chinese companies of using fake Made in Vietnam labels to avoid Trump's first-term tariffs? Liberation Day could throw a wrench in any plans to nearshore or friendshore. It's not clear with whom the U.S. will remain friends. Trump has promised levies across the globe and even next door. Like all trade philosophies, the tables can also turn. Take Harley-Davidson, once fully made in America. In response to Trump's first-term tariffs on metals in 2018, the EU put 25% retaliatory tariffs on hogs coming into the bloc. Harley-Davidson responded by offshoring some of its production from the U.S. to Thailand to reduce tariff costs. Still, the company ate $166 million due to the trade dispute. At the time, Trump called out Harley for being the first to wave the white flag. This time, Harley is calling for the U.S. to hit back if the EU again targets its bikes. For more on that, search Harley-Davidson for this story at SAN.com or the SAN app. For SAN, I'm Simone Del Rosario.